I know many coaches making 100K a month, but if you tear down their accounting software, at the end of the month, there's not much left over for them.
I consulted with somebody last year and their cost to acquire a client was $9,600. And guess what? They had a $10,000 program. The client paid 10K, only they didn't pay 10K because they were on a payment plan. So maybe you've collected 3K. You are in a negative, like a heavy negative.
Welcome to Scale Simple. I'm Sebastian and I'm here with Geoff. Here we talk about scaling your coaching business to 7 or 8 figures while actually keeping the profit. Because here's the thing, most companies sacrifice 70 to 80% of their revenue to bloated ad spend, big teams, or tools they don't need. So we show you how to keep most of your money using hybrid social funnels where organic content and paid ads work together, not against your profit. That's what we talk about here. We share all the specific strategies and what's working right now that you can implement into your business.
Many coaches, consultants, and people running an online service program, they make quite some money that they throw out on the internet, making 50K a month, making 100K a month. But if you tear down their accounting software, at the end of the month, there's not much left over for them. Maybe they keep 5K in profit. Maybe they're not even paying themselves. And in the end, this is less than you could make in many corporate jobs. So why are you even doing this to yourself? How does this happen and prevent that from happening?
The simple answer is I think it happens because of bro scaling. Do you know what I mean? You get a little bit of money. I'm going to build a VSL. I'm going to chuck a shit ton of that money at Zucks. I'm going to get a ton of people through the funnel to watch my VSL and I'm going to sell them. Only the reality can be a lot different from that because lead quality is down, lead costs are up, close rates are down, show rates are down. The theory is good, but once you take into account software costs, sales team costs, commission costs, the cost to acquire a client, your CAC is absolutely through the roof. That is where people come unstuck. And that is why they end up making 50K revenue and maybe keeping 5 to 10K profit if they're lucky.
Why don't we break this down for people that are listening to this and maybe also people that do not have a coaching or consulting business yet, or not running ads or not scaling it at least. What are you typically looking at if you're running ads to a VSL in costs to acquire one client?
It can be wildly different from person to person, largely based on how good the ad creative is to start with. You've got CRO, right? You've got conversion rate optimization. So then it depends on how good the landing page is. Then it depends on how good the VSL is, how good your friction through the funnel is with regards to your application.
Of course, but let's give people that are in this right now, let's say you're starting out or you're making 10K a month. Let's give them some perspective, right? Because we've both had coaching programs. We still do. We both run ads and we've helped hundreds of clients scale. We have a lot of insight on this specifically. So if you're starting out or if you're making 10K a month, 20K a month, and you want to run ads to your, let's say it's a 3-month program, what do you expect to pay to acquire one client?
On the low end, if you're really good, $1,500.
The reason why I'm asking that is because I think for many people out there, it's shocking. Many people out there think I can get leads for, I don't know, $50, $100 or something like that. And if you put that number there, you got to pay $1,500 or maybe more, right? Especially because $1,500 is actually an average that you're taking from clients that have already figured it out. They're already running ads successfully for a bit of time. So many times when you're starting out, that cost might be $2,000, maybe $3,000.
More, way more.
More, exactly.
Way more.
And I think this is shocking and it's also eye-opening for people to understand. If you're out there right now, you're making $10,000 a month and you want to scale your coaching business with ads and you say, okay, I want to spend $3,000 in ads. It could be that you literally do not get a client and you give up on it altogether and you say, ads do not work.
Dude, it's likely that you won't get a client. It's highly likely. I consulted with somebody last year and their CAC, their cost to acquire a client was $9,600 running ads through a traditional VSL funnel, nearly $10,000. And guess what? They had a $10,000 program. So it cost them $9,600. The client paid 10K, only they didn't pay 10K because they were on a payment plan. So maybe you've collected 3K, right? Only once you take into account the sales team's commissions and the softwares and all the aforementioned things, you are in a negative, like a heavy negative.
And that's on the front end, dude. That is not calculating chargebacks, refunds, people that do not complete their payment plan, all of that shit.
Yeah, you can't message Mark Zuckerberg.
Which is common. right?
Yeah. You can't message Zuckerberg and go, oh, this client, they defaulted on their payment or they asked for a refund. Zucks doesn't care. Yeah, that's tough, dude. You pay me to run ads, which you did. So I've fulfilled on my part of the bargain.
They have a good banking arm by JP Morgan Chase as well. They will not accept your disputes or anything that you throw their way.
No, sir. You are not getting that money back. You paid us to run the ad. We ran the ad. That's it. Contract fulfilled.
You got bot clicks. You got fake leads. You got clients. Right. That is your problem.
Look at you go. Yeah. Dude, this is one of the worst scenarios I've ever seen. $9,600 to acquire a client and $1,500 on the low end. Like I said, if you're really good, if your creative is really good, your copy is really good, your conversion rate optimization on your landing page is really good, your VSL is really good, all those things, maybe you can get it down to $1,500. But I guess on average is probably somewhere between maybe 3 and 4K for a lot of people. It's a lot of money to get a client.
Especially if you think that you're making 10K a month and then you're like, oh, I got to spend all this again just to acquire 1 or 2 new clients.
Yeah.
That is usually the exact way that you scale. But we're not here to talk about just ads and VSL funnels, right? So what could potentially be a better way on how to bring that insane ad cost down and also give our listeners or viewers, for the matter of that, perspective on what else is possible and how else they could acquire new coaching clients?
Would now be a good time to drop a highly promotional, covert way that we do it? Would now be a good time to do that?
This is why we do this podcast, guys. It's so you guys can tune in, you can grab a notepad, you can listen, you can write down all the strategies and you execute and it will work. Like we should do some screen sharing sessions as well. We share the screen, we share the numbers, we show you how to do the ad and whatever. And you can follow along, implement the shit and go get some more clients. And if you ever feel the need that want help, you want someone to look at your creative specifically and get the stuff implemented together with you, look over your shoulder, work together with us, and feel free to reach out. For everyone else, just get shit done, guys. Let's go.
Get shit done. So here's what I think is a far superior way. You still run an ad, but you don't run an ad to a landing page. You run an ad to a short form platform. It could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn, whatever, a short form platform. If you're comfortable on camera, do Instagram. If you prefer writing, you don't want to speak in front of a camera, you can't be bothered to hire an editor or do it yourself, use LinkedIn. But all you're trying to optimize for is a follower, not a client, not a lead, a follower. And in our world, when you get a new follower, that is a lead. That is somebody we now have the ability to communicate with, right? Because they followed us. Okay. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into this prior to starting to run ads to your profile. You've got to make sure that you've got your content pillars correctly optimized. You've got to make sure that you're focusing on growth content, but also what we call conversion content. And we can do
profile is optimized.
Yeah, exactly. Profile is optimized, all of that kind of fun stuff. But then let's assume that all of that is in place, and we'll do a podcast on how to do that stuff. But let's assume for a second that's in place. Then what you do is you run an ad to a profile viewer. That profile viewer, at least a chunk of them, if your content is good and correctly optimized, will become a follower. Okay. Then what you can do is you can nurture that follower through short form and also long form, YouTube video, podcast, whatever it may be. And the reason that you're looking to do that is because according to Google statistics, 1 in 100 people that you generate are ready to buy now. And this is why so many people have such a heavy reliance on a sales team to get this done, is because 1 in 100 people are ready to buy now, which means you have to have a sales team in place. And those people better be damn skilled in order to be able to wrangle somebody over the line. Right.
I think this is really important.
Yeah.
So for everyone that is making 10, 20, 30K, you probably don't have a sales team right now. And it's probably fucking difficult to figure this shit out, how to hire a good salesperson, maybe close more yourself. So at this point, this strategy that Geoff is explaining right now does not require a sales team. In fact, it makes it easier to do it without a sales team altogether.
Yeah. The kind of slight caveat to that is you can get away with not having a sales team once all of your content is correctly optimized in the right way. Up until then, you can still continue to take sales calls yourself, or if you've got a little team, you can continue to feed them calls. But the kinds of calls you will be feeding them will be infinitely different to calls that come through a traditional funnel. The reason for that is because the stats are 1 out of 100 people are ready to buy now. 50% of every lead you generate never buy any from you regardless. That's just the reality. Which remains 49%, which could buy, but it might be in a couple of days. It might be next week. It may be next month. And for some of them next year. They're just going to require a longer sales cycle. They're going to require more warming in order to get them point where they're like, I'm ready to do business with that person. I'm ready to pay them money. I want their help. So you are warming people, which a funnel is really bad at doing. A funnel doesn't warm anybody up. And I know there'll be a nerd in the comments somewhere that will say, email list this, email list that. Yes, you can use your email list, but if they don't, who's the authority? They don't see you as somebody that they can really do business with because of how your content is structured, then that person just ends up ignoring your emails. They become another dead lead. They unsubscribe, yada, yada. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be very strategic, but that is what we call a hybrid content engine, which is a blend of good quality organic content mixed with some ad spend, but instead of driving them into a funnel, you drive them to be a follower first and then you nurture them.
You got to think of it, guys. Where do you build more trust? Everyone's talking about the email list being exclusively your clients or your audience that you can do whatever the fuck you want with, which is true. But think of where you build more trust with somebody. Is that on an email that are now mostly written with ChatGPT? And by the way, if you do that, I would highly recommend against it, because the emails I'm reading right now are the ones that are, at least I feel like they're written by somebody taking the time to actually write it. And you can usually tell. But more, where do you connect more with people? Is it in your email, which pops up in the promotions tab, or is it on Instagram where you hang out anyway, or whatever it may be, TikTok, LinkedIn, stuff like that?
And then long form, YouTube and podcasts.
Correct. So there you connect with the people, right? Because you see their faces, their authority, maybe they're screen sharing some things, some wins, some tutorials, some hacks, right? Some value that you can directly implement. So you build this, what we call the parasocial relationship, right? This is how you as a founder and an offer owner can take yourself away from day-to-day sales calls and one-on-one conversations and can build a parasocial relationship with your audience. That means you do content and using leverage. Many people feel like they know you one-on-one, but you don't need to take the time to be there one-on-one for everyone. So that means if you meet these people in the gym or on the street, you probably won't know who they are, but they will feel like you're their best friend or a good friend that they see every other day, and that's exactly the kind of content. We'll go deeper into what kind of content. And I think we've shared that in some previous episodes. So if you haven't watched those, go back to, I don't know, episode 3, 4, something like that, where we talk about different content, and we'll do so again. But essentially when you do this, you get that outcome, right? So that people know and trust you way more than just on your email.
Yep.
And when you pay for them to become a follower, right? Because that's what you pay money for it when you're running one of these ads, then they're in your ecosystem. So you only pay once, and then you have as much time as needed to build that know and trust for whenever they're ready. Does that make sense?
Perfectly explained, mate. Yeah. And a lot of people are resistant to this. They're like, what a waste
because
of money.
It's not direct.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not direct. There's no instant gratification on it.
Correct.
It's
The
like
sales cycle.
I'm spending money now, and I do not get immediate credit card ching, but you do actually. And it's weirdly, you do. Even running this type of content does get you people because the percentages that you just explained, right? The 1%, the 49%, and the 50% will never buy, and 49% need more time. But the 1% are also part of these people. So they come in and they're like, yeah, cool. And maybe there's some of you right now in this audience and you're listening to this and you're like, cool. So go check us out on Instagram and click the profile in the description and just shoot us a DM. I think the word is simple or something like that. Just simple growth, right? Just DM us. We'll personally reply. We'll figure out if we can help and show you what that would look like.
Like the resistance point is worth talking about, dude, because so many people are like, oh yeah, it's going to take too long to generate. Okay, like what's your alternative? Go and spend a chunk of money on a traditional funnel and enjoy going broke in the process while you try and get it to make it work. Or just delay the gratification a little bit. Understand that in this day and age, people are infinitely more skeptical than they've ever been, and they just require a little bit longer to warm up to the idea of working with you. It's just delayed gratification at the end of the day.
Go do it. Go implement it. Get it done. If you want to know about content, right? We talk about this every episode, and I think we should talk about it. In every video, in every short, you'll probably see me or Geoff or somebody talking about this specifically, right? If you want to go out there and you want to build content and you have no fucking idea what to post right now, there's 3 pieces of content that you need. You need top of funnel content, which is interesting stuff that relatable stuff that appeals to your entire audience, right? Or maybe go even broader. anyone in your niche and a broad ecosystem could find this appealing and could grab this attention and get to know you. Then you need middle of funnel content, which educates the audience that already knows they have a problem and they want to fix it. This might be you listening to this podcast right now, right? You're part of the middle of funnel or bottom of funnel. You have an online service-based business. You're a coach, you're a consultant, you're making some money, right? Maybe you're making 10K, maybe 50, maybe 100K, and you're only keeping 10K, right? Which are usually the people that listen to this kind of stuff. And you're trying to figure out, how can I scale my business profitably, right? How can I make more profit? So you're looking into ideas on how to create better content. And then you come into situations like these where you listen to this podcast or you see this short clip, which is a middle of funnel or almost bottom of funnel piece of content where not many people, this will not get many views, right? If you're seeing this on Instagram, you might see 100 views or 200 views, right? Or maybe 500, right? But this is very specific content. That's why it doesn't appeal to the broad masses. So don't be afraid if you only get a couple hundred views, but these views will be views that are very powerful because they're probably people that are deeply interested in this. And bottom of funnel is content where you talk about your results, testimonials, where you talk about very specifically why you, compared to everyone else that offers a similar solution, are the best thing for your prospect or client to pull the trigger on. Why should they work with you? Those are the 3 pieces of content that you need. If you feel like you have no time, there's 3 pieces of content every week. That's enough to 1 or 2 clients a month.
Yeah, for sure. And over time, it's like, don't forget the law of compounding returns, because over time it compounds. And the people that followed you a month ago keep seeing your content. And again, you should take a small budget, literally can be $2 or $3 a day, and run a retargeting piece of content to the people that follow you, because the platforms won't show your content to everybody that follows you. So you should make sure that you get in. And again, that's a topic for another conversation, but you're staying top of mind. You're getting in front of everybody that follows you. So maybe somebody who followed you a month ago, now they're ready because they've constantly been seeing your content. Now they're ready to make a buying decision. So you end up going, holy cow, where did this lead come from? Dude, it was somebody that followed you a month, 6 weeks, 2 months ago, whatever. Delayed gratification.
That's all you need. Then you gotta take action, 3 pieces of content every week, and you gotta consistently do that for 2 to 3 months. I do not know of a situation where that has not gotten someone an extra 1 or 2 clients at minimum within that time period.
It's all about delayed gratification.
If you're doing something else in the meantime, if you're running another VSL funnel or you're running some other ads, whatever you may be doing, this can just amplify it, right? This just helps you build trust with your audience so that they are warmer and better leads.
Key word is trust, because that is what is lacking in the marketplace at the moment. So the more things you can do that builds trust prior to somebody entering a funnel or booking a call, the more clients you'll get and the easier those calls will be.
Let's go execute. Let's go implement. What's next?
Why don't we cover ad strategies, and then we'll go deep on specific content strategies, exactly how to produce growth content, how to produce urgent content, and how to produce sales content.
Yeah. So if you got to this point and you're not following us, go follow the podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, click that bell icon thingy, and you'll be notified when we go through the detailed strategies so that you can just follow along, start executing.
Sounds perfect.
See you in the next one.